going to hear about another very different but yet life-changing experience that involves outdoor adventure travel. Please join me in welcoming Tracey.
It's rugged, it's rough, it's bold, and it's absolutely breathtaking. It's Alaska. It's the great land, the last frontier. It's a place where you can be as wild and free as everything around you. And I was headed there. It all started when I was 19 years old. I was sitting in my college dorm room in Boulder, Colorado, flipping through the National Outdoor Leadership magazine. I was flipping through it and I turned to this one page. And I saw this picture. And it must have been my Scottish ancestry, but it was the greenery, the greatness that pulled this magnetic force. And I told myself, I have got to go there. I didn't even know where there was, but I had to go. 7 months later, I was on a plane, headed to meet 12 strangers, and together we would embark on an adventure together of a lifetime. We would hike 120 miles over 30 days in some of the most remote parts of Alaska. This was an adventure of a lifetime, and I was looking forward to it. Today I'm going to share with you why a backpacking experience like this can be such a life-changing experience. And I'm going to encourage all of you, whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or not, because I definitely wasn't at the time, to try an adventure like this and just get out there and go. Before I begin, I've got to ask a couple of questions to get an idea of the audience. How many people right now are wearing deodorant? All right. You can move neighbors if you want. All right. How many people have shaved within the last 24 hours? Alrighty. How many people have looked in the mirror in the last couple of hours? Okay. So you can imagine how shocked I was that my instructor was plucking each one of these things out of my bag, telling me I had to leave them behind. I was still a teenager. I couldn't bring a mirror. What if I had a big sit I had to pop? Or something in my teeth. But I had to leave it behind. No. This was bare bones, real adventure travel. I could bring with me 2 pairs of shorts, 2 shirts, 1 tent, a stove, a sleeping bag, a compass, and a map. And that was it. Well, backpacking is tough. And I can tell you, by the end of the first day, my thighs were burning so hard that I was happy that I didn't have more than 60 pounds on my back. And that's when I learned life lesson number 1, simplicity. If your life doesn't depend on it, in the backcountry, you're probably better without it. And I think that applies to our life here in the civilized world too. If your life doesn't depend on it, then you're probably better without it. Here I was in the middle of nowhere having the time of my life, and I had fewer things than I'd ever had in my entire life. Alaska is a large state. In fact, it's larger than the 3 largest states combined, California, Montana, and Texas. There is this thing in Alaska called the Alaska Factor. And it goes like this. Alaska plays mind games with you. You think you only have about a mile to hike, oh, right there, and 10 miles later you still haven't reached it yet. It's because everything is so great there, so much larger that your depth perception is thrown off. I saw some wild things in Alaska. Tundra, caribou, raging rivers, glaciers. All of these things forced me to look up and to look out. So much of our lives is spent looking 2 feet in front of us, hunched over the computer, steering wheel, BlackBerry. It's all right here. 2 feet, whereas in Alaska, I had to look 200 miles out there. And this is where I learned life lesson number 2, that I'm a very small piece of a very big puzzle. And there's a lot to get out there and see. And if you go out there and see it, it enriches your lives and gives you such a better perspective on yourself. So Alaska is a big state, but it's not necessarily a safe state. So I was given 2 things to protect myself on this adventure. Hey bear! Hey bear! No one told me that for the next 30 days, every minute of the day, at least one person in our group would have to shout, "Hey bear." That's it. In order to protect ourselves from stumbling upon a bear, the idea is that you keep shouting, "Hey bear!" and they'll know that you're coming. And bear spray. I was really given a can of bear spray that looked like mace, and people have used it before, and you spray it as the grizzly bear is charging at you. I would like to see that. I did run into a couple of things that made me realize that life could be very short. We ran into a bear, and up in Alaska, they have become more and more common, bears interacting with people, so they're habitualized, and that can be dangerous. There was a point where we had gone hiking one afternoon, and the fog changed our perception, and we were on a scree field, and we became very lost and didn't know if we'd make it to camp that night. There was a river crossing that the water started to fill up really high and became dangerous, and we had to turn back and not continue on that day. So all of these experiences taught me life lesson number 3, that life could be very short. You never know, whether you're out in Alaska or here, it could just end tomorrow. So as you can tell by all of these life lessons that this was a remarkable experience for me. The Knowles trip was absolutely phenomenal. It taught me so much about myself, and I have to say that by getting out there, doing something so different, really forced me to look inwards a lot more. And Alaska was this perfect backdrop for finding this peace, for finding this clarity, and having this all start to make sense to me. So I would encourage you all, whether it's a Knowles trip to Alaska or up to the local mountains, to spend some time and get out. Challenge yourself with the inconveniences of backpacking. Spend some time listening to the silence and just spend some time reflecting. I promise you'll come back and you'll appreciate all of this so much more.